Hello, and welcome to Rule of Thirds, a conversation about art, design, and culture, with your hosts,
Burns,
Mike,
and Jude.
If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod. Don't be shy to say hi.
A question about the arts and the craft. If you didn't know, then it's good that you asked. You tune into the culture. This the rule of thirds. If you want to, you could tune at work, yeah. They tell me, does that frame fit good? Does it feel right? You want a still photo for your website, but you want a logo we can design, right? Yeah.
In this episode, we talk about the realities of pricing as a creative and client etiquette, as well as spotting red flags in potential clients. Enjoy.
Yo, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good afternoon.
What the hell is afternoon?
Afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Welcome back to episode
67.
of Rule of Thirds.
Yeah.
We hope you guys enjoyed the last episode.
Yeah.
How have you guys found the season so far? Let us know.
Please do.
Yeah. But yeah, we came across a situation, well, we've come across many situations
Many
in our career. I'm sure some of you have as well, but oftentimes, let's reenact it actually. Yo, man, saw your work, man. I love your work, man. Great work, bro. Great work. I'd love to build with you. Yeah, what's your prices?
It was funny, yeah, because it was even worse than that. So it was more like, hey, I've seen some of my friends share your work. Wow.
You mentioned the friends, no?
They didn't mention any friends. No recommendations. It was just straight up vibes. I like your work. I think we should do something together. How much?
Wait, how much?
Not even. This is
Not
what,
even.
What I want.
This is what I want. Nothing. Just how much. So in my head, I was thinking like, how much what? How much what?
to build.
Like how much time? How much? How?
No, to build.
What we build it?
We're building.
I think my initial response is always like, when people ask questions like that, is like, I'm not a barber, I'm not a hairdresser, I'm not
They
Sainsbury's.
said, I'm
No,
a
Baba. No, because I was like,
Baba,
a
Baba, I was
a
like-
dad?
Babalawo. Definitely not that. I'm not Tesco.
Mm,
I'm not Quick Fit.
mm.
I don't have a set price list for my work.
And even if you did,
Even if I did,
you're not even asking me what you want.
Yeah,
So how can I even
I wouldn't
provide?
even tell you with that.
Yeah.
And I guess this episode is to educate the designers, the non-designers about how do you approach a designer, and also as designers, how do you price yourself essentially?
Mm,
Because I think it's a conversation that, especially in the cost of living, people's prices have probably increased. And I think it's important that people have understanding as to why designers and just creatives in general charge for what they charge. I think even J5, a producer,
Yeah.
what was his rate? For
250,000, I think.
No, that's not
25?
$250,000.
My bug
I
is
saw maybe it was a couple.
20,
It was a couple
20,
thousand.
20 bags.
I think it's.
I thought it was 20 or 25.
I think it might be
20,
25.
yeah.
Might have added an extra zero.
250.
Hey, I'm trying to bless the guy. Come on, man.
But yeah, I think his price was 200 or 25.
25k.
25k. And
Might
it's
be
like-
wrong, but it's around. It was.
Yeah,
it was
It
a
was
lot.
only like it was more than
Yeah.
more than a grand.
Yeah.
And like, there's no way that since we started what we've done, that we've stayed at the same price, right?
Mhm.
I guess just for those who are trying to figure out a bit more, like, as to why we price what we price, like what goes into you lot's, and also I'll say mine as well, but what goes into you lot's price making or quote making or day rates or all that kind of stuff.
You can start, Mike.
Damn. So I think the main thing is probably like experience.
Yep.
That's probably like the main thing, because that's why your price is gonna change over the years, because you are more experienced. experience, you've learned new things, you've upskilled, all of these things, and your price has to reflect that. I think day rates is probably an easier thing to start off with.
Yeah.
Because that's like sometimes like an industry, there's like a estimate, like there's I think Major Players has like a census kind of thing that they do every year where they kind of like break down, okay, what's the average salary for a midweight designer, digital designer, all of these different roles within like the creative industry for, I want to say it's for like designers, videographers, account directors in advertising, and all of those kind of roles in media. So for me, for my day rates, I've definitely started off like probably looking there for like what my rate would look like, and then comparing that with my experience, I'll kind of come up with my amount. It may differ place to place.
Yeah.
Like larger agencies, I'll probably be like, cool, this is my set day rate because that's what they're used to.
Yeah.
Smaller boutique agencies or like small companies or something may get like a different day rate, but I think I've got like a bottom. Like, cool, this is like, I won't go further than this.
Right.
Why wouldn't you go further? Like,
Because
let's say for
yeah.
example, like a really great brand comes to you and like, yo, Mike, we love your work, we want to work with you, but this is our budget.
yeah,
And it's actually maybe it's £100 or £200 lower than what you would.
£200 lower. Gosh,
Say an actual figure,
Okay,
like just so that
Like,
I want to see what happens.
let's say some of our day rates are like $450 a day or $500 a day. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It could be. It may not be. Could be higher, could be lower. Who knows? But let's say it's 500, for example.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, let's say Nike come to Mike and they're like, yo, Mike, we want you to create a poster for like a in-house event we're doing, but our budget is £200. And your day rate is fixed at £500. How are you approaching that conversation? Are you, and bear in mind, it's Nike.
No, that's why I'm like, if my day rate was 500 and you're offering 200 and you're Nike, I definitely would be like, I'd feel away. I'm trying to work out how I'd communicate my disappointment, because I feel like it would be important to probably say like, yes, I do understand that this is for your event. Maybe you might be best suited to working, like finding somebody else who's like,
Okay, pause. Yeah, I think we skipped some.
oh, sorry.
Because they've said they can only offer £200.
Yeah.
Would you not negotiate or?
Oh yeah, okay. I'm really
Yeah, this.
yeah.
But Mike is saying he's above that. In terms of like,
no, I think
like-
I've
like
just
200.
because
I've just gone straight
yeah,
to the
yeah.
like that's way below.
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah, I'd probably say like, cool. It would be good to negotiate. I think part of me is like, if it's Nike and you're offering this, I'm actually not going to pay it any mind. But
Yeah.
in another situation, I'd probably be like,
Solange is
my-
offering you
oh
£200.
gosh, no.
You're doing it, man.
Solange wouldn't do that to me.
I can't lie. There's certain companies. By the way, I'm not taking that. But
If I said that, by the way, I'm not involved. But anyway.
disclaimer. But if there's certain companies where, but let me even say that. Let me update myself.
No, but like, okay, so you know how earlier I said like, there's probably like
Dangerous.
you know how I said there's a minimum that I'd accept. I say, okay, my day rate, because I've done this in like freelancing projects, my day rate or my amount for this would be X. And then if they're like, oh, maybe that won't be able to.
500 is going to be our base rate for the whole episode, just so that people can have a reference. And then
But is that a realistic thing
I
for
guess
people to
I
have
feel like
to
part of me is
take
like,
in?
I feel like we should probably be transparent. Because
Yeah, word.
like, okay, so I will just say straight off the bat, day rates for me right now have ranged from like 300 to 350 depending.
this was
on where the
recorded
place is.
on October to November 2023.
Yeah, and this
Prices may have changed.
Yeah, no,
I know,
this is-
right.
this is movement, but like, this is like subject to change, right?
Yeah,
like,
subject to
it
change,
has
yes.
been at one point like 300 to 350,
Yeah.
and that's even been within the same time period. Sometimes certain companies you'll be like, cool, my day rate is X amount, and they'll be like, okay, that might not work with our budget. So I've said, okay, we've met at like a 300, maybe some depending on if I really like the project, and in terms of like deliverables, we will negotiate. Cool, I'll probably give you X amount. I won't give you the full thing you've asked for. Maybe I can do like 70-80% for like a 250, 275 kind of thing. So with Nike, I would definitely be like, cool, if we're using 500 as the example, I'd say, okay, my standard day rate is 500. You said that you can only do 200. Would you be able to maybe meet me halfway? And then go from there. If they can, then it's something I'll be like, cool, I can accept. I think I'll clarify, like, normally this is what I would want, but because of this, and maybe even look at like the payoff for me, or like, because obviously it has to be like a mutually beneficial thing.
Yeah.
I think whether it's talking about timelines or whether talking about like the scope of work that you can actually get done with that amount with them is important to like say like straight off the bat.
Yeah.
If they say no, that we have to do we can only say at 200. It depends. Part of me, maybe like a year ago, I would have been like, oh my gosh, it's Nike. I'm going to do it for 200. I think now, because I like my piece and I don't want to be screw facing in the future, I'm probably going to be like, don't think it'll be the right thing for me to take on, but I can either give you a suggestion of people who you would be able to like afford, let's say, who are maybe, whether it's junior, whether it's mid, weight, or if that's their day rate, or they're looking for an extra gig alongside their day job, like, then I could like suggest them. And I'd definitely talk to the people first and be like, cool, this is the budget. And I'd even tell them, try and negotiate to see if you can go higher, because I think that's important. Like certain people that we've worked in similar roles, I've told them, cool, this is how much I was paid at the job.
Go higher.
Go higher.
Yeah.
How about both of you? Like, what would you do in that situation?
Wait, so in this scenario that you're given, are they paying you £200 for the poster or £200 a day?
Good question.
Oh, that is a good question.
That's my first question, because a lot of times when
and initially it's for the deliverable, that it wasn't for the
200 for the whole thing.
200 for the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of circumstances, I actually will be inclined to say, yeah, sure. But it depends on who I'm working with. So if I'm working with like a marketing manager, especially with like the field that I work in, when I'm working with a marketing manager, I usually like to build a good relationship with them. Just because I think I've said this on the pod multiple times. I like to work across projects. I don't like to work on one thing and it's just like, okay, and we pass it to someone else. Because I think we're all very aware of how sometimes the assets can be changed and wrongly manipulated, and then they end up looking horrible.
Yep. It looks bad on you.
Yeah, so it's like most of the time I'll ask the question of like, okay, cool, is this just a one-off? If it is, then that would obviously like impact my decision. If it's a one-off, I might just be like, oh no, and it will be similar to what Mike was saying, where I might just suggest someone else.
Yeah.
But if it's an ongoing project, I'm more inclined to be like, you know what, okay, what else do you need? Or what else can I offer you? And then figure out the timeline for that. So if it's a thing where maybe for a whole month you're gonna need me, and even though it's not a day rate, it's per asset. Because a lot of times, like if a company is coming or an individual is coming to you, they might not come to you as a day rate. They might come to like, oh, I just need one thing, or I need two things, or I need five things, or I need templates, or I need whatever.
Yeah.
So if it's in those kind of situations, I like to ask and be like, okay, what are you thinking to do? Where are we going with this? And if it's a thing where they need me over a period of time, I might be like, okay, sure. But just bear in mind that this is this, and everything else is going to be priced completely different. So if you're asking for, let's say, a poster, and that's 200, and then you ask me for another poster or maybe a video,
don't expect it
to be. Everything is going to like differ from there.
Yeah.
You know, because I think sometimes there's been so many times I've shot myself in the foot because of the day rates. I can't even lie to you.
Right.
People can definitely finesse day rates.
Yeah, because like similar to Michael, my day rate was 350 for like a long time, and I was like, okay, this is nice. I can't complain. But then I was like, hold on a minute. I started looking at the work rate, and I'm like, I'm exporting like 50 animations all day.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like 9 a.m. you get emails saying this is what we want for the day.
A day rate is technically like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So about 7 hours.
Yeah, probably
Max.
longer sometimes.
Yeah, and they don't care about lunch for you.
No, that is actually true.
Like you figured out.
Get the work done.
Eat while you're designing, and they'll be like, "Can we have this in the next hour? Can we have this in the next hour? Can we have it before EOD? End of day." So I feel like sometimes you can shoot yourself in the foot when it becomes, because maybe they might say, "Oh, we need 4 assets." If you want to price them individually, perhaps you might end up getting like 700, 800 pounds to £1,000 or something. But if you do a day rate and you're doing even £500, that's your day rate, which is quite high. But if it's just for the day and they say, okay, yeah, sure, can you do all of this today?
Yeah,
And you're like, yeah, sure, thinking, oh, you know, it's a day rate, it's still heavy, but you might have just shot yourself in
Work you be doing.
Yeah, so I mean, that's how I approach it. What about you?
I think similar to you guys, so like around that 350 mark. But it's like I think with I think I'm coming to a point now I start rejecting a bit more stuff because I'm like, nah, man, it's not worth my. I think I've gone through a lot of projects that have stressed me out.
Oh God, yeah.
That I'm like, I don't want to ever experience this feeling again.
Yeah.
So most times the fee is compensation.
The pain. Yeah,
The
I hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of factors in our prices. Like, it's not just when it's for picking numbers out of the sky.
Yeah.
We have bills to pay, and we have years of experience. So essentially, you're paying for that. Do you know what I mean? So like, even like softwares that people use, depending on what your expertise are. So if you're a musician, there's a certain music software that you use, or if you're an architect, there's certain software you use to like create your stuff or whatever. These things are expensive and have to be paid for. Again, you've got your bills, but you've got your time. What can I be doing? Is that opportunity cost question? Like, what can I be doing with my time? So this, I think a lot of people sometimes don't, especially clients. They might come to you thinking, look, I want to. Someone came to me the other day actually and asked me about my fee for something. It was like a deliverable, so it's not really a day rate thing because I can probably get done much less than that. So like a half day rate or whatever, and like they haven't responded back to me yet. But there's a trend that I always I think all of us know anyway. But you guys always feel when
they're about to be a shaky client,
or like they're like nah,
they can't handle it.
Yeah, I can't afford this one. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's one of those kind of people. But it's like, that's cool, because I think for me is that I know that I will get clients by the grace of God. Like, so it's not this. Is
That's
not,
nice.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
in terms of like, I'm not worried that
Yeah.
if this person says no,
That shouldn't change your
no,
principle and your
I'm not
prices.
gonna
Never.
lower my value, because I've gone through so many experiences where I've seen myself. Like, there was days where, you know, the £50 days. Or like,
50, 25. Yeah. This day I regret making one logo for £25. I was so stressed about that. That took me like weeks. Never again.
No, sleepless nights.
What?
Gosh.
Yeah.
yeah, so you have those experiences in the back of your mind. They're like, look, somebody's gonna pay. And the thing is, never somebody. Funny enough, there's probably more people that are willing to pay our day rate and more than the people that are not willing to.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a video the other day actually by a guy. Let me see if I can actually get it up, because I think it's actually quite useful.
I need to post a clip, and I really forgot.
What today? Yeah. At what time?
At like 6.
Or you lot need to watch whatever Mike's about to post. But like, let me see if I can find this clip. I think it was a really good video, to be fair. Yes, it was this one.
So how much does a logo cost? The logo design process is typically split into 4 different parts: strategy, research, design, delivery. When you pay for a logo, you're not just paying for the final results, but you're also paying for the process behind it. Can we design a logo without going through all that process? I mean, yeah, but it probably wouldn't be the right logo. The cost of a logo ranges from as little as like £50 upwards to about like millions of pounds. It just really varies. So maybe the question isn't how much does a logo cost? The question should be, how much am I willing to invest so that I get the right logo for my business in the first place?
And I think that the last part about like investing is really important, because I think for me is that I don't actually want to work with people that see my fee as a burden. You should be excited to pay this money.
Yeah.
Because this whatever I'm creating for you, it's gonna take you higher. It's gonna help your business.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you know what I mean? I don't, you know, when someone's attitude or
I think that's definitely like one of those red flags though. If you see it, honestly, if you are a designer,
yeah,
you put a price down.
Yeah,
Just say, if someone starts to act skittish around your prices and they'll be like, oh, can you do it for this? Can you do it? Usually they're about to be a client from hell.
yeah, and I think even like, and I think in the cost of living crisis, it is sensitive in the sense of like, okay, but what about if let's say for example, someone's fee is actually not even in the 300s or whatever. Let's say it's in the 100s or the 50s. Increase your price, and it may sound increase your price if you think you're worth
It has to just it has to be justified.
You can't just be don't just charge money because you can charge it. It has to be worth what you're obviously giving them. But like, I think very often, I think in my earlier days, it was very easy to just say, look, I'll do whatever you want for whatever price kind of thing in it, because I'm like, I need the peas. But it's like, it's a dangerous trap, man.
It has to be a balancing act.
Yeah, and your time and your energy is very important. Like, we've had so many experiences of like clients from hell where it's like, you've been working on projects for God knows how long, and it's like, I'm tired.
Yeah,
It's times
it genuinely drains you.
Terminated.
I can't lie. There's been so many jobs where like once they like, I think there was one a while ago that they were like, oh, this wasn't what we wanted.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to terminate it. And I was so happy.
I said, praise the Lord.
I was so happy. And it was just one of those jobs where it's like, from the beginning, you know, especially like a lot of clients, when they come in and they want to negotiate everything, including the idea. They want to negotiate the idea. What do you think about this idea and that idea and this idea and that idea? So already I know that this person doesn't know where they want to go.
Yeah.
So most likely, before we even get to a point where they're going to be happy, they're going to be unhappy, because they're going to be like, why is it taking us so long to get to a small bit of understanding or the starting point or whatever? So a lot of times a client will come and they'll be like, oh, so I've got this idea and that idea and this idea and that idea. I want to try them all. And it's like, okay, do you have the money to back that? They'll be like, nah, this is my budget. Maybe their budget might be like, I think for the one I was doing, it was like, what, like 500, 600? And I was like, okay, cool, we can make this work. But I need to know your thoughts and your ideas clearly. So we went through the whole process of them telling me what they like, what it is, give the references. Basically got right there and they changed their mind again. And it'd be like, actually, could we try like this thing I just saw recently? Do you get what I'm saying? In those kind of situations, that's when your price will be very, very important, because it's like now you're like, hold on, that price right. And maybe in that
safeguards you.
Yeah.
And like even with like contracts, so I was saying how like I'm starting to pattern the contracts a bit more now. Like contracts definitely safeguard you in the sense of like revisions. I mean, I think we've definitely spoken about it, but like for me, I think some people even 2. I've got 3 revisions, and then after that and revisions can be silly as well. Like, I would definitely like as designers, creators, whatever you do, you need to if someone does give you feedback, if you don't agree with the feedback, also you are the expert in what you do. Do you know what I mean? So also battle back if you feel like it's not.
Fight for your ideas.
Yeah. Because sometimes I think a lot of times we just just kind of give up the battle and just like
the client's right. So
whatever. But like actually, end of the day, let's say they post your work and then they tag you. Thank you for
amazing work, and you're like, oh God,
that's your
don't tag me.
Yeah,
that's your advert on the billboard essentially, and it's like, is that what represents you? If not, fight for your work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't just take what they said as like the final say.
Yeah.
But at the end of that, if worst case scenario, they are the person that, I mean, it's the client's work at the end of the day, so the client might be like,
that's what I want.
That's what I want. Tough. Like, you also, depending on what your contract says as well, because sometimes in your contract you can probably talk about how you're allowed to share parts of your process or parts of the project or whatever on like your website, on your socials and stuff. Like, there's still, depending on what your contract may say, there's an element of maybe feeling a sense of ownership sometimes, even though, yes, like when it comes to design, the work isn't really ours anymore because it's for someone.
Yeah.
But I think things like that sometimes can help with feeling like, okay, even though you've had to give the client what they wanted, you still have something on the other side of that too. Or even if it's, portfolios. 'Cause I know people often talk about, oh, that's work I can't share in my portfolio. Depending on, there's different types of portfolios you can have. Sometimes on websites, because that's more public facing, you probably have to, like, don't include certain things.
Mhm.
But if it's a PDF portfolio that goes to specific people or password protected stuff, that can have like other versions of projects probably. So yeah, another way to look at it.
That's very good. Password protected ones are very good.
Or password protected PDFs or in terms of like portfolios and stuff.
Yeah.
Boy.
So at least like it, because sometimes someone might be worried like, oh, like that's not the final version,
Mhm.
and you don't want that on like you can't post that on socials or on your website.
Right,
'Cause
right,
obviously
right, right.
The real version is
So it's more like security. Yeah, that makes sense.
But at least that one is like for select people who, whether it's for new clients or a new job,
Yeah.
they can see what you intentionally would have wanted for that thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think, Bez, you mentioned something earlier about like how to approach designers. Because I mean, even with the example that we were given, and I feel like there isn't a lot of like proper etiquette when it comes to like actually approaching designers. A lot of times it's like they see your work and they just DM you or stuff like that, and it isn't really professional. Like
I do feel like there is, and to be fair, even on my Instagram, I've not put my email there for banter.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Word.
think it's like, I understand if you want to DM me, but like, I share memes on my DMs, man. I don't have
Oh yeah, that's not my work.
This is not the place
This
for
is a
business.
playground.
I don't have serious conversations on my DMs. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so it's like, is this the right space to even be saying? Because I think it's really important to keep a thread. Because even like, I know even for me in my day job, like threads are so good because we're able to see what were their mens, what were the feedback, and what was the comments. When you start fragmenting into different spaces, oh, but I said this. Where did you say?
Where did you say it? Yeah.
So keep on the email. Start the email just saying hello, like, hey, how you doing? Kind of
Yeah.
like, but also like explaining your vision and what you want to do and what you hope to see at the end of the project, kind of thing. And like, could you please let me know your day rates, or could you let me know how much this would cost, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, not in the thing. Like, and the key thing is explaining what you want.
I think that's one of the key things, because a lot of times
Yeah.
they're not clear on what they want, and it makes everything a bit more complicated, even with the pricing.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the person wants, they might say, "I want a logo," but it turns out they don't even want a logo.
Yeah. Cause like,
Yeah.
would you
You know?
say like they should even say, what would you suggest?
I think it's always a good thing, but also it can be
A bit like you don't know what you're doing.
a lot of clients don't like to show themselves as like, oh, we don't know what we're doing, because it's always a
I feel like
two-way
they'll get
street.
finessed.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Let me suggest. They think that the designer might, and some do. I'll be very honest.
Yeah.
They might just like puff it up and be like, oh, you need this, you need business cards in 2023. They'll be like, you need business
Scrap
cards.
that, man. Let's be honest. You don't need
But
that,
there's people, like, honestly, I still know people who will suggest like
business
you should
cards are
get
a
business
scam.
cards. But
Hey.
people still suggest that,
When was the last time you received business cards?
like Sunday.
Oh,
Hey.
Yeah,
Actually, you're right. You know, I received one on Saturday. My bad.
yeah.
That's fine.
People still use
Sorry.
business cards. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends on what kind of like what you need. You might be an influencer. Your thing might not be business cards. It might be something different. Maybe like a QR code somewhere that you can keep, that whenever you go out, someone can scan it. Might be a better thing for you as opposed to a
Yeah,
business
yeah.
card. Maybe if you are like a professional, like I don't know, like a lawyer or something, a business card might be a better way.
Yeah.
to-
It depends
to-
on your field. I
Do you know what I'm
guess.
saying? And I feel like there's a lot of sensitivities around what you need, depending on like every job. No two jobs are the same.
Yeah.
Even if they're from the same industry. If you're asking the music artist, oh, I want album art or cover art, you're not going to get the same thing. They're going to get completely different things depending
Right.
on what they need for their project.
True.
So it's like, I definitely feel like the clients have to have a better way of communicating what they want, but it will also make the designer or the creative have a better understanding of what they should charge and how they should approach the project. Because it might be a thing where it's like, you don't even need what you're asking for, and any good creative will tell
Yeah,
you,
no, it's
you don't
true.
need
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Like, or this, like, there's been so many times, even me, like, someone be like, oh, can you do this for me? I'd be like, I don't have to charge you for this. It's fine. Like, it's
Yeah.
literally just
Yeah,
change
it's-
that and you're done.
There's certain things that I say I'm
You
gonna
know?
do because this is not gonna.
But that only comes from like having a good relationship with.
Very true.
What about like timelines? Like, because I think sometimes people will come to you saying, look, and I think this is one of my pet peeves with a client, where it's like, I've started rejecting these things unless I've got if I've got a good like ongoing relationship with you as a like we work together a lot kind of thing, then that's different. But if you've come to me, I don't even know who you are, and you're saying, look, I need this urgently. That really
That's me every day though. I'm gonna lie.
that really
You say
vexes
that's with
me.
people that you're already in a relationship with.
Yes, you are. There's no way it's just random people.
No, there's a few. Yeah.
But like,
In the industry that I work in, it's
Yeah,
very
okay,
normal.
fair.
but that's different.
that's
I'm
different.
saying like urgent, like a
Like
logo.
random Tom, Dick, and Harry has like DM'd you because it's probably going to be a DM saying,
Do like a manufacturing company. I need an urgent logo.
Yeah, I can't lie. That's yeah. I've got a bunch of those. Not the logo though, but I've gotten a lot of stuff that will
But
need.
in
like,
certain things, I'm just like,
yeah, it's not a good practice, but
you're not serious.
it's like, I guess at the end of the day, that's our job.
I know, but you're not serious.
for some, I think that's the thing. Maybe like for some people, like because
It's an
I'll be honest,
afterthought.
some like quick projects.
Yeah.
If I know that I can like do it, I'll be like, oh,
No.
Yeah,
bit,
Let's not get it twisted.
bit of
eh?
a challenge.
Let's not get twisted.
exactly.
A nice pay.
Yeah,
Let's not get twisted. If you're paying the back,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
yeah.
However, my pet peeve
No, but yeah.
is just like,
Or is it more the approach as well?
I think it's more so the lack of respect for the
For the-
craft. Because it's almost like,
okay.
you can get this done for me quickly, can't you?
Okay, stuff
But you
like,
can.
okay, no,
I can.
no,
But
no,
it's the
but
fact that you're
but-
not even giving me the time that I
but
need.
I think I get what Bern's saying. Like,
I see
you
what
know,
you're
you know,
saying.
sometimes when people are really think like, oh,
You have nothing else.
you're just doing design. That's what's
Small-
that
what's
small
that
design.
small job?
But what they're
Okay.
what they're really asking for is like quite
time
like
demanding,
time
yeah.
demanding,
Yeah.
and you have to like be intentional and requires more than just I'm gonna make and type this out in a font on
Right.
Illustrator.
Because we all know that when we make logos, for example, logos, I think logos are the best example because logos are
I
so
hate logos
difficult.
so
I
much.
hate doing. Sorry, I love logos.
I hate them. Don't send me if you're listening to this and you're a potential client, don't send me
so
any
don't
logo
send
work.
me-
I'm so
No,
sorry.
no.
Logos.
I don't
think,
want
are
any
the
of
Maybe
those.
love
most.
hate relationship. I overthink it.
That I just hate it. I
You
just
know with
oh,
logos,
God.
because it's so subjective.
Mm.
It's one of those things where you like, for example,
Mm.
a while back, a very long time ago.
Yeah, sure.
I sent somebody some logos, right?
Mm.
And I even went above and beyond. I had better ideas. So I was like, which one? I gave him maybe like 4 to 5.
Mm.
They didn't like any of them.
Mm.
The key thing that I asked was, okay, you don't like any of them, but what direction
Do you?
Yeah.
do you think?
Yeah.
Which version do you think most aligns with the direction you want to go to?
None.
No, they actually said,
Oh, I thought they're gonna be like, oh no, them.
Because
But
that,
like-
that would have been hell.
but that's also
Word.
another thing for like for those who are asking for logos and those who want designs. Don't just say no, I don't like it.
Say why?
Be constructive.
Which one works?
Because actually there was something to build off. It wasn't just a dead end. And actually we got somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's actually like designers, creatives ask questions that prompts them to speak more. Also, clients don't just say no and just full stop.
That
It's
is
not-
like the worst kind of feedback.
it's not productive.
Yeah. Sorry,
Well-
this doesn't work. Okay.
Where do you go from here? Like,
yeah, like
do you know what I mean?
all right. See you later then.
Yeah,
Or
like-
even to add on to that, and also don't do the. I get input from other parties,
I showed it to my and they said
Easy.
yeah.
especially when it's like still in like early stages and you yourself don't know what you want, but you're asking other people for their opinions. Because
Yeah.
I was in a situation that used to happen to me,
Mm.
and it really used to annoy me because I was like, okay, I understand they may have their own opinions, but what do you actually want
Yeah.
from your thing? And it's not asking every Tom, Dick, and Harry because it's not theirs, it's yours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But usually that's a telltale sign that they don't know what they want. So you can be like, I can't. I've called out a few people. I'll be like, you don't know what you want, do you? It's fine. This is my number. Call me. Look, we can have a conversation about it. 'Cause especially in the industry that I have to,
Yeah.
like, I work in, it's like a lot of times the men be like, okay, this is the creative for the artist or whatever so far, but this is what we want to do, and we want to do this, and we want to do that, and we do. And I'm just like, okay, let's have a conversation because I feel like you're spitballing a lot of different ideas, and I can tell that it's not coming. It might not be coming necessarily straight from you. It might be coming from the artists themselves, the marketing manager. It might be coming from the CEO, and all these things are coming to you, and you have to kind of present it to the designers and be like, okay, this is what everybody's saying. Figure it out. And now you're here trying to like shuffle out things that half of it is just like fluff. You don't even need it. You know.
100%. So yeah, I think if you have any other questions, I guess we're gonna do a Q&A session soon.
Yeah.
So you probably just make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms at Rule of Thirds Pod, and you probably see it. But we'll probably put a box so you can fill in your questions, and we'll also cover other topics that you guys want to find out more, and we'll give you our opinions and advice on it. So yeah, till next time.
Raise your price.
Thanks guys for tuning in to today's episode of Rule of Thirds. Feel free to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag Rule of Thirds Pod. And for more from us, follow us on Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod, or our personal accounts for myself, Burns JNR,
Mike at _man like Mike.
And Jude at Kente Kwame.
Catch you guys in the next one.